Camelot.
Rivendell? It is.
Rivendell.
We come from the borrowed lands.
And the trout shores?
It's eyebrows. Good old eyebrows.
Andriel, welcome home. My sons informed us of your actions at Fornost. Such courage and resolve brings great honor to our household.
I am grateful for what you did at Fornost. If Agendaur's forces had joined in the hunt, there is little chance that I and my charges would have made it here to safety.
I'm so glad you made it. No, what happened after Bree?
I am glad to have been of service. Will you tell me what befell you after we parted?
I found the hobbit Frodo Baggins and his companions and led them through the wilderness, hoping to throw the Nazgul off our trail. All the same, 5 of them attacked our camp at Weathertop, and Frodo was badly wounded. After that, the enemy pursued us almost to the hidden pathways of Rivendell itself. We never would have saved Frodo, except that we had the help of Elrond and his people.
It seems exceedingly strange.
Those of Mount Doom, in the land of Mordor. The hobbit, Frodo Baggins, has agreed to take it there.
Surely you don't intend to send him there alone?
No, certainly not. A fellowship
was
will be
good.
formed. A fellowship of 9. 9 walkers set against Sauron's 9 black riders. Among this fellowship will be representatives of all the free peoples of the world. Elves, dwarves, and men. Aragorn and I will both be going.
We have
We
proven
want to
our
go
worth
too.
in battle already. Let us add our strength to this fellowship.
The hope of the Company of the Ring
No,
lies
no.
in speed and secrecy, not in strength of arms. Their number must be few. Even were we to send 1,000 such warriors on this journey, it would do little more than arouse the wrath of the Dark Lord.
We are at your service. Tell me what we can do.
The Nazgul and Agendaur are dire threats. We must learn all we can of their movements before the Fellowship is to depart. Scouts will be sent out in every direction to scour the lands around Rivendell. Your aid in this would be of great service to our cause.
Very well. Where should we start?
Agendaur is our chief concern. Although the Nazgul are powerful foes, our mission here in the north is abundantly clear. We can only guess what Agendaur may be planning, or where he went after he escaped from you.
I suspect he may be planning to move against us here. Sauron's hatred of the elves is very great, and he does not forget the hand we played in his defeat during the War of the Last Alliance.
If it is strength he wants, he may well find it among the Ettenmoors.
I know little of the Ettenmoors. What can you tell me of this place?
The Ettenmoors are a spur of the Misty
Well, it's
Mountains, lying
an
almost
area where
directly north of
PvP.
Rivendell. It's
Yeah.
a wild breed, age in a very rugged terrain.
Creeps
There
versus
are many
freaks.
trolls and giants.
I myself was in the Etten Moors but days ago. I saw no sign of Agendaur's presence, but neither did I encounter trolls. That fact alone is troubling. It could be that they are gathering in force, somewhere among the moors.
We will travel to the Etten Moors. If the enemy is active there, we will know of it.
From what I have heard of you, from Aragorn and Elrond's sons, I expected no less. Still, you have had a long road and hard fighting to get this far. Take what time you need to rest and recover before you set out. The Etten Moors are a dangerous place for the unprepared.
The hospitality of my house is yours for as long as you wish.
What's that?
Right, we've got to go and see the work of Westerness, the Master Smith, show the ancient tome to Elrond and Elrond twice.
Maybe he is certain to be deep in the sway of the Dark Lord, and very likely a powerful sorcerer in his own right. We must be watchful for any sign of his presence in the days ahead.
So 6 more remain. Perhaps we might capture them as well.
That would be a great service to our cause. Should you recover them all, bring them to me, and I will ensure they are destroyed.
Would it not be better to destroy any I find immediately?
You will find that works of this sort are not so easily destroyed. There are strong wards placed upon them that protect them from mundane harm. But I have the necessary skill to remove these wards. Should you gather the remaining scrolls, bring them to me, and I will see them destroyed.
I will be certain to do so.
In the meantime, please accept this in appreciation for bringing this matter to my attention.
Zip.
Perhaps it will be of service to you in your travels.
There is something else. I discovered this tome hidden amid the ruins of Fornost.
Ah, now this is writing of an altogether more wholesome sort. This was not made by any minion of Sauron, but rather by the men of Arthedain, likely before the fall of Fornost.
It appears to use the elvish characters as was common with those folk, but I can make little of it at a quick glance. Perhaps you can discover more.
Indeed. It seems to be a personal journal.
What have we got then?
And here is a name inscribed.
2 presents.
There's some
M.A.L..
potions.
Why, this appears to be a work of Malbeth, the
Don't
seer of
understand.
Arthedain.
Malbeth? Was he not a visionary of some sort?
Many of the Dunedain race are gifted with foresight, but none more than Malbeth. He predicted the final destruction of the kingdom of Arthedain, which befell exactly as he had foretold. I will examine this work carefully.
Oh, some nice
Who
versions,
knows what
actually.
other visions are here recorded? It may be that we will find something of
You
value
double
to
your
us in this time of
life
trouble.
for 60 minutes.
You did well in bringing
60
this
minutes.
to me. Take this in way of thanks.
Health times
Is
2,
there anything
duration
more you
60
can tell
minutes.
me about this mission to the Etenmoors?
Only that the Etten Moors are a
Also,
dangerous place
potion
at
of
the best of
retribution.
times. The danger
That
will
means
be
you
that
strike
much
the player
greater
or
if the
injured
orcs
equal to
and
30% of
trolls
the
are
player
being
damage.
organized by an outside force.
I'll go for that.
You and your friends will need
high
to have
damage,
your
actually.
wits about you.
I'll take that one actually. Starlight Ring.
Greetings, my friend. What can I help you with?
Is there anything more you can tell me about this mission to the Etenmoors?
Only that the Etten Moors are a dangerous place at the best of times. The danger will be that much greater if the orcs and trolls are being organized by an outside force. You and your friends will need to have your wits about you.
Thank you, Master Elrond. I will take no more of your time.
Right. Some new stuff.
Greetings, Andriel. I am glad for the chance to speak with an old friend. Need keeps me away from Imladris, but my thoughts are often with those who dwell here.
I would like to know more about those chosen to be part of your fellowship.
Who is it that interests you?
What of Mithrandir, of Gandalf? The two of you are great friends. Can you tell me something of him?
To know all there is to know of Gandalf would require a lifetime study. There is much about him that remains a mystery, even to me. Yet he is a relentless foe of Sauron, and without his vigilance, the ring would already be in the hands of the enemy. His wisdom and leadership will be of great value to the Fellowship.
What of this man of Gondor, this Boromir?
Boromir is the son of Denethor, the steward of Gondor. I had never met him before Elrond's council, but
Good
long years
shit,
ago,
yeah.
under another name, I served his grandfather Ecthelion. The men of Gondor are valiant and strong, and by all accounts Boromir is foremost among them in courage and skill at arms. I suspect
The
Ah,
holder.
I think here he is.
Andriel, I thought I might see you ere long. Imladris is filled with tales of your exploits. I believe Lindir has even begun a song about them. But while battles can build a heroic reputation, they also break down equipment. You have need of my services.
What task is before you now, Angmir?
My fellow smiths and I are preparing for a great work. Soon we will be called upon to reforge the legendary sword Narsil. In the meantime, I've been sharpening my skills by practicing the art of imbuing gemstones.
Imbuing?
By imbuing, you mean the process of binding powers and virtues to an object?
Yes, clearly you have a good understanding of this art. As you know, gemstones are very strong vessels for this process. Sadly, appropriate gemstones have become difficult to find. The growing trouble throughout the land keeps travelers away, and our own people are staying closer to home.
What can you tell me of this sword, Narsil?
Narsil was the sword of Elendil, a mighty lord of the Dunedain who defied the Dark Lord in the War of the Lost Alliance. He bore the sword in battle against Sauron, but he was slain and the sword was broken. Since that time, the shards of the sword have been an heirloom of the House of Elendil. It was to remain broken until the day when an heir of Elendil would go to war to reclaim the crown and title of king. That day will come soon, and the sword must be made whole once again.
I have discovered some interesting relics of the Dunedain, Angmir. Perhaps you can help me with them.
Ah, these are work of Westernese, the lost land of Numenor. The men who forged these items were skilled indeed. You have the makings of a unique weapon here. Although these components were never part of a single work, I believe you have assembled everything I would need to make it so. The finished weapon would undoubtedly carry some elven qualities.
What do you mean by that?
Only that with a work such as this, the finished product is liable to reflect the nature of the smith who assembles it. If, for example, a dwarven smith were to complete this weapon, it might possess quite different qualities from the weapon I would create.
It seems fitting that an elven smith should do this task for me.
Very good. I will get started at once. There, it is finished.
That was quick.
May this serve you well, my friend.
Aye?
To make this wondrous weapon. It was done in a lickety-split.
With the Great, before the shadow of Sauron fell over it. In ages past, it was a place of great beauty. But now, it is filled with darkness and dread, save only in the north where my father's realm is maintained.
What brought you on such a long and perilous journey?
Unpleasant business. My father sent me to report the escape of Gollum, a creature Aragorn had entrusted to our care.
What can you tell me about this Gollum?
A pathetic creature who long held the Ring of Power. The evil of the ring has left him twisted and tormented. His only thought is to recover what was taken from him.
Will you be departing for your home soon?
No. I have been chosen to represent Elvenkind among the company of the Ring. I will be accompanying the halfling, Frodo Baggins, on his journey south.
I wonder why it is that with so many elves in his own household to consider, Elrond chose to make you a member of the Fellowship.
I asked for the privilege, and Elrond did not refuse me. I feel he may have been relieved not to lose any of his household to this quest. He will have need of all his strength, should the enemy move against Imladris.
I am curious why you would volunteer for this.
Partially to make amends for the loss of Gollum, but more so because this will be the final chapter in our long struggle against the darkness. And I wish to have a hand in our final victory. Or at least,
to stand in the forefront of our last act of defiance.
May Elbereth guide you in the days ahead, Nicholas.
And you as well, Andriel.
It's Dildo
Hello
Bugger.
there, Andriel. It's good to see you back safe
You are.
and sound.
Bilbo.
I've heard all about what you and your friends did to help my Frodo and the Dunedain reach Rivendell safely. Oh, you'll have to tell me all about it one of these days so I can write
Oh,
it all
Frodo.
down properly.
I am glad Frodo made it here safely. He is your heir, yet he is not your son?
Oh, no, he's not my son. Actually, he's my first cousin once removed. And also my second cousin once removed. Well, it's complicated, but we share a great-grandfather. The poor lad was orphaned at an early age, and so I adopted him. Made him my heir, all nice and legal, while...
The light from the west is rekindled, forth from Imladris it springs. Renewed is the hope that is dwindled. The scion of Westernese kings.
Why, yes, yes, that's just the thing, isn't it? Oh, my friend, you should consider exchanging those weapons of yours for the poet's pen.
I hope the day will come again when we concern ourselves solely with music and poetry. But I fear that day is still far off.
Oh, I'm afraid you're right, but since these old hands are not much use with the sword, I'll just keep on with the pen. Though I'll need some help. Perhaps you could show this to the Lady Arwen. She has her people's gift with words, and this touches her deeply after all.
I will take it to her.
Ah, thanks very much. Be sure to give her my compliments, won't you?
Happily. Farewell for now, Bilbo.
Glowing.
Well, my friend, it's an honor to make the acquaintance of one of Farin's valiant companions. I'm Glóin, son of Groin from the Lonely Mountain.
and one of Bilbo's companions in the quest to slay the dragon Smaug. I remember seeing you when Thorin Oakenshield's company stayed with us here in Rivendell. I am Andriel, a lawmaster of Elrond's house.
I heard about that business at Sarn Ford, and they say the three of you brought down an orc chieftain at Fornost. I expect I'll be hearing of even greater deeds before long. It does my heart good to see a dwarf, an elf, and a man working together again. Reminds me of the old days, it does, when the three kindred fought alongside one another in the Battle of the Five Armies.
Then you approve of my alliance with Farin?
I will speak plainly. I may be less than fond of King Thranduil's wood elves for keeping me in their dungeons, but I've no grudge with any of Elrond's folk.
I have heard when a dwarf bears a grudge, it is set in stone. But I believe this grudge against the Wood Elves should have been put aside long ago.
You're right, of course. I can be a stiff-necked old dwarf, but it's time to set aside grievances that were long ago repaid. When dwarves, men, and elves fought together at Erebor, we overcame legions of foes. But we face a far more terrible enemy in the Dark Lord. Standing together against Agendar may be more than just a good idea. It may be our only hope to save the North.
We must not forget the Great Eagles. They have been a great help to us, just as they were to you and your companions.
Well spoken.
Bilbo!
Thorin's quest and the Battle of Five Armies would have met disaster without the help of the Eagles. You're fortunate to have gained the friendship of such noble creatures.
I am familiar with the ruin known as Weathertop. What happened there?
We were attacked by 5 of the Black Riders. I was foolish, and I put on the ring. One of them wounded me before Aragorn managed to drive them away. The knife that was used against me left a shard in the wound. From what Gandalf has told me, the fragment was working its way inward. If it had reached my heart, I would have become a wraith under the power of the Black Riders. Fortunately, we were able to reach Rivendell in time for Elrond's healing arts to save me.
It is a little thing, this ring, but filled with mischief. Will you show it to me?
No, I mean, I'm sorry, but Gandalf and Elrond have warned me against revealing the ring to anyone, even proven friends. I hope you understand.
Yes, I believe I do begin to understand. It was wrong of me to ask. I beg your pardon.
There is nothing to forgive. But the ring, it has a strange effect on everyone around it. It is better for it to remain hidden.
It is indeed a heavy burden you bear, Frodo. May you find strength and wisdom on the long road ahead. Farewell. It is long since so many dwarves have graced the halls of Imladris. Who might you be?
Gimli, son of Glóin, at your service. I've heard your name spoken with great praise. That was fine work you did at Fornost. Not bad at all for one of Thranduil's folk, who are more accustomed to stealth in the forest than open battle. But after all, you had the help of my kinsman Farin. I heard he played a valiant part.
And so he did. But your wits fail you, Gimli, son of Glóin, if you cannot tell a wood elf from a member of
To live
Elrond's
Tana
house.
Ah, well, no offense meant, but there are Mirkwood elves about in the halls, and they are the kind most familiar to me, being our neighbors and allies. Any elf of Elrond's house is a friend of mine and my kin. I am honored to be a guest here amongst the wise.
Farin spoke no word of more kin following him. What brings you such a distance to Imladris?
Aye, it's a long march from the halls of Erebor, but grim news goes on swift feet. It was for Bilbo's sake we came, with a warning that the servants of Sauron wished to find him and his ring. Thrice a Black Rider came to the front gate of Erebor, demanding news of Bilbo, and threatens to return once more. Ere that should happen, King Dain sent my father, Glóin, to seek the advice of Elrond. You've heard the results of the council? I see you have. I have sworn to protect Frodo upon his quest, an oath I will fulfill though all the orcs of Middle-earth stand in my way.
When you speak of a Black Rider, my mind is filled with the horror of the Nazgul. Was it such a fell messenger that came to your door?
Not one of the Nazgul, I think, but it was a fell servant all the same, who spoke in a voice like the hissing of snakes. Goblins, and other deadly foes growing in strength. When the Dark Lord strikes, there will be more than one land that feels his wrath. I fear for the Shire and Rivendell. It would ease my heart to know that you'll look to the defense of the North for as long as you're needed. With help from Farin, of course.
Whatever Aradan and I, and the most esteemed Farin can do, we shall do. You have my promise.
But do we all need to check the quests, or should we all have them?
I think we should all
We'll
have
have
them.
a quick check.
Where do we buy and sell shit?
There's a woman. Fucking dog. You see where I'm going on the map?
I think Elora, that one.
Yeah, that's the one.
Andriel, welcome home. It is good to have you back. I have already heard tales of your exploits. All of Imladris is proud of what you have done. Oh, but I forget my duties as steward. You have been through many
What you
bitter
found,
battles.
Nicholas?
Are you in need of new arms or equipment?
It is good to be home once again.
Yeah.
How fares
I'm
your
tired
wondrous
as it is. I think if I talk to
Less
him, I'll
serene than
fucking
usual,
fall
I
asleep.
The servants of the enemy came almost to our very doors in pursuit of the hobbit Frodo Baggins, but he was saved by the valor of Aragorn and the arts of the Lord Elrond. But you know more of this than I.
And Frodo, he came through all this peril in safety?
He was gravely injured by one of the evil weapons of the enemy. It was thought that he would not survive, but Elrond's skill as a healer is unsurpassed. He saved his life, much to the relief of Bilbo.
So Frodo is dear to Bilbo?
Oh yes, he is his nephew and heir. Bilbo hardly left his side during the long days that Elrond tended him.
Were the Nazgul that pursued Frodo destroyed?
I do not know, but my heart tells me they were not. Elrond will be sending out many scouts to learn what they may of the fate of the Nazgul and the movements of the enemy. I have been told to prepare supplies for them.
Most damage in the standard attack, 2000. Ooh.
Those who venture into the wild must be well prepared. Examine the goods Imladris has to offer.
Right, got to speak to Liv Tyler. I guess she's where you are.
Yeah, on the way.
Andrea, my Govanen.
What quest have you got, Paul?
Safely returned. I'm
Um,
told you passed through many dangers to bring us warning of a new threat facing
the
us.
Etenmores.
Estelle speaks highly of you.
I've
and
got
my
a side
brothers
quest
praise the
of
courage you
Cult of
showed
the
in
Lidless
Borst.
Eye.
I thank you for the part you
The
played
poet.
in the safe return
Yeah.
as well. Rest now a
And
while in the peace of
Elfstones.
Imladris.
Yes.
It is long since we sat and spoke
You got any
of
more?
herb lore and
No,
other
that's
gentle
it.
arts.
Well, I do have
It is
to
a
talk to
matter
Liv
of the
Tyler.
gentle arts that I bring to you. I have been speaking.
I spoke to her,
through
but I just got bored, if I'm being honest.
Say no more. I thought our people had a passion
Yeah, I
for
thought I'd done
poetry,
that.
but this hobbit may have put us to shame. He has put me to shame, to be sure. Not all elves have the gift of verse. He asks for your opinion and advice, for he says the subject is a matter very close to your heart. Then I would guess it is another poem in honor of Estelle. Leave it with me, Andrea. I will give it some thought and answer him myself. Bilbo will be pleased, I am sure. I would that I had more time for such arts, but Elrond is in need of my skills, and I fear I must leave for the Etenmores as soon as may be. Then I will not keep you, but perhaps we may be of service to one another. Your journey may solve a problem that has perplexed me. I am helping my father create a quantity of Miraval, and we may fall short of certain rare ingredients which can be found in the Etenmores. In all my years at Imladris, only once have I tasted the fragrant cordial Miraval. I remember how it renewed my heart and gave me fresh strength. Yes, it is difficult to create and therefore precious. If I gave you a list of the ingredients, perhaps you could bring them back from the Etenmores. I will set aside a flask for your own use when we have brewed it. You are generous, lady. I will seek them out for you and return with them once my mission is completed.
Right, quests. What have I got? Yep. Etenmore's, Cult of the Lidless Eye, Elfstones and Miraval.
Yeah, let's go before I fall asleep.
Rock and roll.